small but very welcome distraction during the previous game, but luckily we were able to finish it off in a reasonable time, nevertheless. And now the plan of mine is to watch how the game went down and see if perhaps we could learn something from that experience. At least something that we know already for sure is that Simpro toyed with us a bit, because they had a significant villager lead at some stage. We got the largest army. That's not something that happens all too often. Okay, so we had better eco. Well, it felt like that. So they just added villagers at some stage. Here-ish then. Perhaps. Let's see. Because I was expecting them to crush us a few times during the game, but then their army never showed up, which was surprising. But perhaps they had some difficulties managing that then. Oh, I was also... Let's see if I adjust the settings a bit now that I remember. Scouting the edges of the map, I don't think I've seen anyone scouting like that before. Probably makes sense if you are not. This could be a meta way to do things at some stage as well. I just haven't witnessed that myself. There might be some idea to it. You don't probably run into the TC5 if you do it like this or something like that. So I was presuming that they might be a little slower player APM wise, but then again they reacted to all this very quickly quite often. Oh, okay, so they had scouts there already. I just didn't notice those. But this is just like, some things are weird sometimes, like they could perhaps wall there much more easily than the walling attempt that they're doing right now. And that's always very curious to me. Okay, some idols there. Yeah. Perhaps they are new to the game. Let's see. Now that we are hovering around 1k elo, it's quite often the case that the players are new to the franchise, and that gives us some edge perhaps. Well, they've been around since 21, so that wasn't the case with them. If I read this correctly. Okay, so they got eco kill here. Because now, if they had this, if they had prioritized this wall instead of that one, and had they walled, well, from there this gold mine or from here to this wood line, they would have a very safe gold. So I think this is very curious, this walling attempt of theirs. But I'm not an expert, it's just a hunch that I have. So how do I find the amount of games someone has played? Looks to me like they've played perhaps some 891. Okay, so a bit shy of 1000 games already. So they probably knew how the game functions quite well, perhaps better than we did. But still, like, against a group of archers, just having scouts would be enough. Then against spears, scouts and running away would be enough, and what have you. But yeah, we both have had multiple minutes of idle TC time already. But there were moments like this where we are able to all of a sudden kill 5 villagers, for example, because they are doing something elsewhere, microing the skirms or something. And then fighting with wills is also perhaps a little ill-advised usually. Not always. I often give that hint to fellow friends of mine, but we are not that good friends, as you can tell. But I don't know if they had very good game plan hitting deer now. And they could also be walling here if they are that fond of having walls. Let's pretend that I'm having a phone call right now, because that's very likely. But they did very good things here and there, like killing my group of archers before I got to upgrade them to crossbowmen and so forth. And now they have will lead quite convincingly as well. So is it? It's not even eco upgrades. It's just they are now booming now that they got thousands in place. And perhaps their early game was a bit harassed here and there, and they are long distance lumberjacking Swabi, so no worries there, but perhaps things like that affected this a bit. I'm just surprised that we have more resources in the bank, because I felt that the game had gone quite badly for us. Like here we have had multiple villages idle here, but also we had many occasions where they were just hanging around and we were fooling around with our opponents, and they seem to be a little indecisive. And then we have things here and there that are not quite clicking. But I don't know if how the game plan of theirs was. They see the siege workshop. Oh, I just didn't remember to produce any cavalry archers, but that was the plan at one stage, right? But then they don't have the ballistics, despite having this group of skirmishers, and the game is going to last for quite some time still. And it seems that their plan was just to take the paladin and then take it from there. I don't know if it was based on something. Now they still have the skirmishers alive, that's great. And now they are preparing the finishing blow, but... Oh yeah, and they have 20 more villagers. Then they are almost even in resources collected. So I think now they should be in a position where they can convincingly finish the game. But luckily they were just somewhat slow enough with their army control, and like they don't have that many 20 cavalry, soon to be paladins on the field. And these archers showed up just in the right time to force a defensive castle perhaps. But yeah, I should have paid more attention here. I'm busy doing stuff elsewhere, but... Oh, they were trying to... That's why the villagers were there, alright. And now that I am moving in, I'm a little late to that. We could have killed a few more villagers, but simultaneously the skirmishers... Oh, right, they just moved out. And now we are not fighting in the greatest position there is. But they will be losing these villagers quite soon. So some good things occurred. Army control wasn't the greatest, but yeah. Okay, so they... I'm excited to see whether they manage to reach the 120 villagers after this, because I would presume that they are just trying to fight with the army that they have and with the resources and the villagers that they have, and would not queue any more villagers. And they are down to 4 paladin. They are still going to do enough with this. We should be producing way more than we currently are. But their eco is in shambles. So this forward castle it's all great and whatnot, and I was slow to react to that and could have reacted better, but and they also have this town center under construction that's never going to finish. But this is too defensive castle. It should have been there or somewhere there to actually make something happen, I'm afraid. Because now they are down to 40 villagers. Yeah, no. And the skirmishers out there. So, okay. Perhaps they were just a little slower player, and the fact that we managed to steal their attention elsewhere was enough for this to work, because I felt like earlier we were not in the greatest position, and with more raids and more map control, fighting for map control, the game would not have been as easy or possible as it was. But it seems that we had the resources collected, lead from the get-go, and now they are just reaching the point where they don't have army anymore soon enough, and the castle is going down, and then I just hope that they were a bit surprised. Well, they've seen the eco, so they should know that we are in a somewhat capable position ourselves. Perhaps the score was still even enough that they thought that this was somehow savable. And yeah, that's the last attempt with the paladins. Yeah, and the pikeman was just a little too late, I guess. Yeah, and they weren't even that slow, it seems. Perhaps we are just tired of making all these decisions, and that's what cost them. Oh, and we got 4 relics in the end. Thanks for the multi-queue. What is waypoint multi-queue shift clicking thing that allowed us to get 2,000 gold. I should fight for relics in the future as well. Mental note made. Yeah. And our raids then were well timed, or lucky, because they had just got into this boomy amount of villagers when we hit, and then they never recovered from that. I don't think they queued more villagers after reaching that. Almost 120, or just 120 villagers. Which was good for us. And since we had more villagers early on and some eco upgrades, presumably it was enough to give us this edge reaching Imperial Age. Perhaps an argument could be made that since we had 5 minutes of imp time before them, we could have made them hurt somewhat, but that we weren't able to do. But yes, both very fast, but not too fast players we were. Alright, and I'm glad that we got that covered. And then I'm going to fetch a drink and see if we might have. Let's not be stupid. I will be back in a sec. Alright, made it in time. I don't think if I don't know if it's the play, but well, Simpra has been playing with Hans, it seems. Alright. Just looking through the history of theirs, so perhaps they are fond of Hans Paladin or something. Usually that's not something that you see in 1 versus 1 game, but perhaps they read the situation in such a Lithuanians in such a manner that they deemed that they would have enough time to make that work, and that they would be unbeatable, of course, once they get there. Kumbash 65. Sounds familiar, but doesn't ring a bell. So perhaps we are not friends yet. As Romans, we are usually expected to go men-at-arms, for example. Lithuanians, scouts, so perhaps we could have pikes and skirms and just neglect the coal mining to a certain degree. Where are our sheep?
Eus, edifico, lignor.
Oh.
Colligo.
It was also a little weird from my point of view that they started playing with the counter units when few of archers could very easily be killed with just more scouts, for example. Of course, it makes sense to counter both the spears and the archers with skirmishers, but it also means that they needed to build an additional building that they could have very easily have done without. So don't know. They are not scouting based on the score. We are going to get housed. That's alright.
Colligo.
Prontus, recte.
Salve.
Impera. Prontus,
Veno.
Eus.
Veno. Colligo.
And then what? For some reason I'm expecting Lithuanians to play Lytis, fight for the relics, aim for a somewhat lengthened game, but
Edifico. Lignor.
Prontus.
well, even few hits is alright.
Salve. Prontus. Salve. Lignor. Salve. Prontus. Venor. Confestim faciam.
Well,
Salve.
Recte.
hop.
Venor. Recte. Prontus. Impera.
Well, that was almost terrible. And this was like, there has to be a reason why it so often
Salve.
happens that
Confestim faciam.
the path
Edifico. Edifico.
ends up being right towards and under the town center, but I have not yet cracked that mystery.
Prontus. Lignor.
And did we lose a sheep? Possible, but perhaps we didn't.
Salve.
Like, why would they do such a thing? It's a very solid question, right?
Eus.
Confesti. Confestim facem.
Imperate. Confestim
Impera.
faciam. Eus. Eo. Recte. Salve. Salve.
Prontus. Recte.
Okay, well,
Impera.
nice try, and then
Prontus. Eus. Impera. Recte. Salve. Confestim
Go.
faciam. Salve. Salve.
Impera.
Eo. Confestim
And
faciam.
work everyone.
Impera.
But
Lignor.
you, because you will be a farmer,
Prontus. Impera.
and
Eus.
then
Salve.
it's gonna be
Lignor.
alright.
Salve.
Oh, sorry.
Lignor. Colligo. Impera. Prontus.
Lignor.
Impera.
Those clever people.
Edifico. Prontus. Edifico. Salve. Lignor. Confestim. Confestim faciam. Impera.
Lignor.
Salve.
Confestim
Lignor.
facem.
Impera. Salve.
Got
Lignor.
there a bit.
Salve.
Oh, sorry.
Salve.
My
Eus.
bad.
Impera. Eo. Eus. Confestim
What a nice
faciam.
army
Salve.
control
Lignor.
over there.
Prontus. Salve. Lignor. Confestim faciam. Confestim faciam. Eus.
Dun, dun,
Prontus.
dun, dun, dun,
Prontus.
Eus.
dun,
Salve.
dun, dun, dun,
Impera. Confestim faciam. Lignor.
dun, 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 dun. So what do we do? We could
Prontus.
house wall if we wanted to,
Impera.
yes.
Edifico.
We
Edifico.
won't.
Prontus.
I like the fact that they're respecting us.
Salve.
As they should.
Impera.
And then we could make
Impera.
one spear and
Salve. Eus.
Eo. Salve. Lignor. Eus.
Edifico. Edifico. Prontus. Impera.
Edifico. Lignor.
Prontus. Eo.
Tibi Servio. Ad arma!
Salve. Salve. Eo. Confestim faciam. Colligo. Prontus. Impera.
Impera. Ad pugnam!
dun, 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 dun.
Pugnemus!
Yoink.
Ad arma! Ad pugnam! Pugnemus! Ad arma! Ad pugnam! Ad arma! Impero. Recte. Ad pugnam! Salvario. Recte. Pugnemus! Ad pugnam!
Alright.
Prontus.
Tibi Servio. Pugnemus!
Eus. Prontus.
And then this very clever.
Salve.
Oh, sorry.
Edifico. Lignor. Prontus. Edifico. Lignor.
Fast imp approach of ours.
Edifico.
This is of course a surprise, don't tell anyone.
Impera.
It's progressing very nicely. Okay,
Salve.
and then
Recte. Confestam
kill these
facem.
two, and then go there.
Impera. Confestim faciam. Recte. Lignor.
Da, 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 da.
Eus.
Confestim facem. Recte.
Impera.
Impera.
Da, 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 da.
Recte.
Just push our luck a bit.
Prontus. Edifico. Impera. Edifico.
Well, we are throwing away little resources, but that's alright.
Impera. Edifico. Eus. Edifico. Prontus.
We still lost,
Eus.
what, 2 villagers or something like that.
Eus.
Eo.
That we shouldn't have lost. Of course, that's a given.
Edifico.
Salve.
Salve.
And then you would go there.
Edifico.
So right.
Impera. Colligo.
Or you
Prontus.
go there and you
Edifico.
go there.
Salve.
Salve. Confestim faciam.
Impera.
So Romans.
Edifico.
Hmm.
Salve. Eo. Lignor. Impera. Lignor. Recte. Lignor.
So are we
Prontus.
Edifico.
Tibi Servio.
expecting archers? Sure, why not?
Recte.
Salve.
Edifico. Lignor.
Eus.
So we don't need any more
Yeah.
gold.
Salve. Recte.
Salve.
Prontus.
Salve.
Salve.
Eo. Confestim faciam. Salve. Lignor. Lignor. Prontus.
Salve. Impera. Confestim
Lignor.
facem.
Impera. Lignor. Eus.
Prontus.
Prontus. Edifico.
Impera. Salve. Eo. Lignor.
And then what? Up we go.
Impera.
Podio. Podio.
Salve.
Edifico.
Boom. Oh, we were supposed to do skirmishers actually.
Salve.
Eo.
So
Salve.
let's do those
Faciam.
instead.
Salve.
And
Edifico.
Tibis
the
re.
barracks, yes.
Eus.
Confestim facem. Prontus. Salve. Lignor.
Almost dead.
Salve.
Not quite.
Prontus. Impera. Salve.
Impera.
Recte. Eus. Confestim faciam.
Eus. Prontus. Salve.
Edifico.
Right, so let's just keep on working over here.
Impera.
Ooh, so they got little
Eus.
Confestim facem.
Salve.
to
Edifico. Eus.
Edific. Recte.
Prontus. Edifico. Impera. Edifico. Prontus.
Impera.
Impera. Eus. Impera.
Salve.
Eus. Prontus. Lignor. Lignor.
Prontus.
little brave over there perhaps.
Impera.
And then we could just carry on, business as usual. And what do we need? Oh, we have lost some. Sorry, my bad, my bad.
Salve. Eo. Confestim faciam. Lignor. Confestim faciam. Edifico. Impera. Confestim faciam. Lignor. Prontus.
Eus. Confestim facem. Impera. Edific. Lignor.
Eus.
Oh.
Eo. Confestim. Impera.
Okay, so
Confestim faciam.
there you
Salve.
go.
Impera.
Salve.
Okay. That's good, or even great.
Prontus.
And then soon we should have enough
Eus.
stone as well
Eus.
to build more towns in this. Perhaps somewhere like there would be great.
Lignor.
And then keep on
Prontus.
working with that.
Salve.
Eus.
It's alright.
Impera. Podio.
Well, there you go. Ooh, crossbow has been mentioned.
Prontus. Lignor. Recte. Impera.
Da-da-dun-da-da-da-dun-da.
Impera.
Edifico. 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 Edifico.
Salve.
Then what? Go back to work.
Salve. Podio.
Back to work as well. And
Salve.
oops, sorry.
Confestim facem. Confestim facem.
Sorry about that, everyone.
Lignor. Eus. Salve. Lignor. Pronto. Eus.
Eus. Impera. Confestim faciam.
Impera.
Lignor.
Then what?
Edifico. Edifico. Colligo.
Impera. Edifico.
Siege workshop. Oh, would be great. So let's have that.
Lignor.
Then we need some gold.
Tibi servio. Pario. Ad arma pugnamus.
And of course, it's only later when we actually need it. But let's see.
Salve.
Eus. Edifico. Lignor. Salve. Colligo.
Prontus.
Eo. Eus.
Salve.
Impera.
Confestim facem.
So some knights can be seen. Oh,
Tibi servio. Ad pugnam. Reo. Impera. Reo.
Salve. Impera.
okay.
Edifico.
Tibi servio. Recte. Recte.
So let's start with that. And then take it from there.
Recte.
Eus.
Prontus. Salve. Confestim facem. Eo. Salve. Prontus. Impera.
And then
Lignor.
University would be great. More resources of various sorts. Back to stone mining business, why not?
Prontus. Impera. Salve.
Oops.
Salve. Prontus.
Sorry about that.
Impera. Salve. Lignor. Eus.
Colligo. Lignor. Colligo.
And then what? We are still lacking some resources that would make our life greater than it currently is.
Prontus.
Consalve.
Oops, sorry, my bad, my bad.
Salve. Pugnamus.
Salve.
Eo.
Tibi servio.
Destroying things takes time. That's not great.
Impera.
Why would you go there?
Salve. Confestim faciam.
I'm not following.
Salve.
It's
Confestim
true now
facem.
somehow.
Eus. Fodio. Refizio. Refizio. Salve. Prontus.
And there you go. And then how do we get more
Eo. Edifico.
with the market?
Lignor.
Great.
Salve.
Lignor.
Okay.
Impera. Prontus.
Nope.
Lignor. Recte. Salve. Prontus. Lignor.
And there's no stone over there. Okay, let's get rid of those
Tibi
then.
servio. Salve. Eo.
Da da dun da 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 dun da. Right, then selling some wood. Yes. Getting a what's that? A monk, yes. Very good. Perhaps a few houses would be nice.
Prontus.
Edifico. 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 Impera. Prontus. Lignor.
Salve. Eo. Pario.
Da da dun da. Da da dun da. So they are busy doing stuff somewhere, but I don't know where that might be.
Dai confestim facem. Eo.
But somewhere.
Impera. Impera.
Oops.
Impera.
Somewhere of theirs.
Edifico.
Prontus.
Nope.
Lignor.
Reo. Reo.
Salve. Recte.
Okay, and then back there you go. And then we might just carry on building buildings of value and interest.
Prontus.
Lignor.
So why not?
Impera. Eus.
Hello, hello.
Pronto. Eo. Impera. Eus. Prontus. Edifico. Eus. Edifico.
Impera.
Recte. Impera.
Eus.
Du,
Edifico.
du, du.
Edifico. Salve. Edifico.
Everything takes time. Okay, now we have our source of
Eus.
cold if we ever needed that. Oh, we take care of that.
Salve.
Oh no.
Prontus.
My
Salve.
Lignor.
greatest weakness, rushed castle.
Salve.
Alright, and then
Eus.
our next
Salve.
approach of course is
Eo.
just randomly walk around for a while. Wait for them to imp,
Impera. Eo. Foglio.
and perhaps that's what we will do as well.
Impera.
So we have our own source of gold that
Edifico.
might not be
Eus.
Edifico.
actually
Eus.
available for us. Let's see
Impera.
if there are
Fortificaziam.
any knights over here.
Salve. Recte. Edifico. Edifico.
Oh, what a great way to spend time. Hello. So we have some rams. It's alright.
Prontus. Salve.
Edifico. Edifico.
Impera.
Impera.
Contestim facem.
Oh no. Knights.
Impera. Recte.
My greatest enemy. Sometimes was. Okay, well let's give up on that. And then build our next castle there.
Lignor. Colligo.
And do we care about these? No, we don't.
Contestim facem.
Salve.
Edifico. Edifico.
Ballistics would be great, murder holes would be great, but that we can't afford. GG. Thank you for your time. Okay. So Cumbersh was able to ruin our game by positioning some archers around, and that was that. But it seems that they were perhaps a little short on eco as well. Yeah, we could have won the game if we just postponed it a little. 3,000 games they've played already. I think the game was pretty much over when we didn't follow with our when we didn't do any army, but we've been there before, so that's alright. So what's the name of the animal? Mufflon. I think we could have looked around the map a bit more with the army that we had to see if there was an angle for us to try to hit them with. I'm also curious to see, since we didn't have any indel basically. We had next to no indel. It's interesting to see how they carried on with this. Like, did they already have Townsenders when we dropped the castle, or was it something that they did after that, after the fact? Because right now it still seems possible that we could have just dropped the castle there, perhaps. This tower could have been there. Yeah, we gave up on the farms. Some might say too easily. Also, since we lost the pony of ours, also they knew that we had a base over there. We didn't really know much about their whereabouts. They have had plenty of idle PC times well. Alright, so this was their only Townsend back then. But this would have been the wrong angle with the army that we had. Few monks would have helped, but this was a, like, if they didn't have these house walls in place, then we could have dropped the castle there, for example, and that would have forced the issue a bit. But now, even now it would make sense for us to scout this a bit, and then we could have built a castle with more people, slightly faster. But I'm happy that they turned into this defensive play. But yeah, it's very quite much over. They didn't have great army either, we just had very little as well. So perhaps this is something that you might expect from 1k elo. And we were both struggling a bit with the pacing. Alright, let's try to have some more, since I'm feeling tired, but there's also a case to be made that we won't be able to play for quite some time because of an upcoming arrangement. Right, I'll try to sneak in a cup of coffee as well. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so it might have been... we might have lost a few... Right, via Hans, okay. Seconds, but it's alright. 1 minute tops. And we didn't burn our hands or anything. And they are... I know that emblem, but what is it? It's probably not Mongols. Slavs. Hmm. Oh, Slavs. Okay. So what exactly is? So we have better trebuchets, so that's great. Targans are great. So we will play Feudal Age and hope that we are good enough to prevent them from killing us before that happens. But yeah, I think in the previous game we could have perhaps focused a bit on defending. That would have been great. And some army would not have hurt, I presume. I also forgot to check whether they scouted our possible gold locations. They probably did, but I didn't check that. Or I can't remember doing it. So let's see. Ananas gnome. Ananas in English would be pineapple for us who speak ananas language. I forgot that I did this to a perfection. Ah! This I didn't do to a perfection, sorry. This time we will focus, because we have 7 extra food that we can't afford to lose. This is also very... Yes. Well, perhaps the hiatus is going to be a very good thing, seeing how the games are going down so far. Hmm. Chicken hunting would be great, and then we will have all the buildings, that's great. It's almost time to do loom before we lure more boars, but because we trust the process, thus we are not afraid anymore. So we have lost a villager, and also we gave them some half a minute, which is not much, but still leeway. So how do we react to that as a whole? Slavs, what can they do? Infantry and siege. The farms are great and all. So we will probably want to castle drop them. That would be great, but first we will try to deflect their castle drop if there ever is one incoming.
Timo.
Where is our food? It's in the boar. Okay. Very good. So almost up a clock, but not quite. And then what? Hmm.
Zeker. Timo. Berlichtchen. Empty the church.
More berries, that's great.
Zeker.
And
Berlichtchen. Timo.
few on gold, few on stone. Oh no. Now it seems like because of our timing, if they are professionals, and why wouldn't they be that? This is a great time to make some coffee for us. They would expect us to aim for a fast imp, but because we are so very slow, and in that case that might tempt them to, but they also know the score, so well, but still that might tempt them to try to no, there's coffee everywhere, sorry. System, my bad. Just when I thought I was up, I was actually down. Okay, so that's fixed now, very good. Few more villagers somewhere, and then we need some paper. Pistols. Alright. Things are going quite similarly in the real life as they are doing in the game. So let's fix that. Very good, yes, very good. No, not a single problem can be seen. They should be reaching Castle Age quite soon if they have killed all the necessary buildings. Click up, and then that would mean that the people should reach us quite soon. So what do? We are not going to get to a Castle Age very fast, if at all. So let's see if we could destroy their scout. They should see the archer range. I'm not sure about that. So where is it? So let's do that as well. Very good. Ha! Few more archers. And a blacksmith, yes. Why are you? Oops. Well, we will think of something as we go. Okay, let's just. Everything's gonna go. Work out just fine somehow. And then idle time has been tolerable, so no worries. Pop The farm placement has been alright.
Berdachchen. Amr minnu.
Nothing much can be done about it because it's tolerable. And then we have not seen their villagers anywhere as of yet, but it's probably just a matter of time, and then we could have a few farms. This build of ours is not the greatest, but it's a very good build nevertheless. Ask anyone. But it helps if they are relatives of mine, just so we get unbiased reply from the what? Okay, so one scout down, but what's their plan is the question, and can they sneak villages without us noticing? Are they even interested in that? We have enough stone for a castle, that's great. We don't have enough food to click up, so that's not what we would like to have. And then we need more people and wood. So far this army of ours has produced very little, but they have lost their scout. How come we are even in... Well, it could be because of scouting, right? Like... Bloom a clock, and then some food, and up we go. Of course, if they are fast imping themselves, but would people do such a thing? Ah! Cold! Okay, so one more wheel it is, and then perhaps some upgrades would be great. Here I was thinking that we had it all. We have very little. So they are not fighting for the relics as of yet. Everything's very weird. We are Huns. You would expect carry archers. You would expect scouts. Slavs, farms. Is this really closer? Well, it's possible then. If it's possible, I'm not going to question that. So how do we work this? We could do some upgrades because they are almost essentially free. We could send you out there. We could have a castle and a town center. That would be great. Then we would have to be there in time, because whatever happens, it's very likely that they have a plan and we necessarily don't. Okay, they probably added the required town centers and whatnot already. So let's have it there. Actually, I have it here because this is going to get bombarded down very quickly. Because that's how people operate these days. Some more archers, that's a very good idea. People here. Nice as well. Then we have this threat presented by Tarkans. Soon enough. And then nope. Hmm. So we have more walls. Okay, so there's Castle of Terrors. They don't have ballistics as of yet. Okay. And then we could send what is it? Okay. So right. So more people on gold or whatever. Oh, let's just have a few Tarkans because they are huge. Okay, some farmers are seeking for new jobs. So I'll go there instead. And it's gonna be alright somehow. Javari people. Then we would like to have some ballistics eventually. Oops. Okay, and then some more Targans. Would be great. Boyars. And more walls. Okay, let's just call that off then. And then we could have another castle over here. And then we could move there. And I don't know what to do. Let's just enjoy the times given to us. More wood. And help there a bit. So the trebuchets should appear any moment now. We just build things like that. You could based on the score, they are booming in a fashion that we are not. And that's good for them and bad for us. But since we are Huns, that should be no problem. Of because the fact that they are just building up their hordes of boyars is not very good, I don't think. But I don't know what we could do about it. Tarchons can be trained at castles, that's great. Well, let's just try to get some relics if we are given a chance to do just that. We might be a little late because they are moving out, it seems. Ooh, they're trying to move out. Okay. So ballistics, murder holes, architecture, not in the correct order, but in a somewhat reversed one. And the stable. Yes. Perhaps we are just spending some time pondering life as it happens. So we had few barracks there, and then we got that in time. So we have some boyars. It's alright. You could then build us a castle if possible. Right about there. And we go back there. A stable. Trebuchets, and then I presume some militia or man-at-arms would appear. This is a widely it's just a hunch, of course, but since we are Huns, it's a very possible hunch. Despite all the knowledge that we have seeked, the castles won't last for very long. And have we lost our monk already? It seems like that might be the case. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so it's time to get to the next age, which would be the Imperial Age. And then, do we do something or do we just resign is the question. So they have boyars, they have some villagers. Moving forward, siege workshop, alright. And then perhaps we could move here to cut some wood. Oh, we got a relic over there. Okay, well done everyone. It's very good. And then the boyars are moving in. They are not elite yet, but that's probably not just a matter of time. They are reluctant of witnessing our troops like that, which is weird, but permissible. Oh, great monk play there. Okay, so the relic has been snacked. Perhaps by us, who knows? And then do we need anything besides those archers. Just wondering.
Timo.
The villagers are moving forward with all their gears, and they might go down. Okay, so we are not going to get any better archers, it seems. But of course our horsey archers are great, so let's have a few of those. Of course the sad thing is that they are trying to get rid of our valiant soldiers, and that won't do. Let's just upgrade these a bit. Then more upgrades would be great. Enemy relics, we don't care about those too much. Then what? Hussar would cost wood. What's wrong with our farms? Forward castle, alright. Oh. It's not the greatest, it's not the worst. Those we didn't quite get, but it wasn't far off either. Okay, GG. Thank you for your time. Okay, now that we have a coffee cup in our hand, everything's possible again. GG. So we made a great first push, and then that was that. Like from our game plan wise, 1200 games they've played, and perhaps this taught them a lesson to be a little bit more aggressive if given a chance. But I don't know. Perhaps they will study the play. I don't think we needed to have as much room as we were given a chance to. Then again, they only had this, like, I presume they are floating quite much resources, but I don't know if they had, but there must be floating resources, but if we had built a composition that would have competed somehow, then perhaps this could have been a more even game than it perhaps was. Ta-da! That wasn't too bad. 1 second of idle TC time, so we were there right from the get-go then. Huh, okay. Well, I was wrong to assume that we had given them any advantage there then. Or does it only start running when you make the first move? Well, But let's see, house walls early on. And if we played with a mass of monks, we could have at least made it a little bit more ugly for them. The game. But yeah, one of these days, perhaps next year, we will practice using trebuchets and all that. Houses on the edges of the map. They know. The curious thing is this very defensive castle, because if it was there, they have to be presuming that we might play with ranged units as well. There are sort of slips here and there. And if we had our coffee before we played the game, then perhaps we could have punished them a bit with these. And also we could have had our small army that we could have had it around here. Since those were their only cold spots, it would have made sense to drop the castle there when we had a chance to follow up with an additional castle. And then once they got the Imperial Age, it's just waiting for them to win the game. More or less. Although we showed an effort. I don't think that in general, like, we had resources, so we could have thought about taking to something or building an army of any kind, I think. But of course that's not what we did. And they only had 24 boyars. So that's a little underwhelming. Perhaps we could have just had a huge number of archers. Yeah. Okay. Good luck next. So let's see. Are there any stats that would be of interest to us? Well, we were quite slow. That's at least a stat worth realizing. And after the first game, which was a great push after a difficult start, we have not quite reached that similar spirit ever since. This time we made it back before anything unfortunate happened. So perhaps we lacked the fighting spirit to get rid of our opponent when we had the chance. But how would that work? I am wondering, so their approach was very defensive, but we could have read the situation once we noticed that, and especially given that our Imperial Age usually doesn't give us very much of anything. We should probably try to force the issue before that. Since without gold, their game would be very difficult. So, had we read the map, like we saw it, we saw that there were two gold piles in the front, and their castle was there, only barely protecting those, so it might have made some sense to try to hurt that gold mining eco of theirs. And now we get to play against Mongols. Borderline. Okay, let's see if we might be able to small curses? Huh. No, we're just wasting some time. Where is it? Okay. Back to the options we go. So, no. Graphics. Okay. Perhaps we will need to adjust some things outside the game then. Then your mission is to go there and then come back. Great. So there are pawns and everything. Mongols, I would expect scouts from them. I don't think that should surprise too many people. But our Lithuanians player followed Dark Age rush with militia, so rush with archers, so perhaps our Mongol player will do something similar or something not too different from that. Oh no.
Bereite. Ouvert. Holzer. Ja. Ouvert. Holzer. Ouvert. Holzer. Bereite. Ouvert. Holzer.
You stole our dearest animal. Right. Right. Oh, Mongols, of course, because there are huntables.
Hey, ja. Soll.
Now, I feel very smart because I realized the fact that the what? The reason they might want to play
Ouvert.
with Mongols on this map lies in the fact that you can very easily have a plenty of food for your scouts if you do it like that. Okay, so what's our reaction then? We haven't found them yet. They should have a plenty of scouts, fast castle, and then
Heiße. Ouvert. Over.
why would the deer move? Why is there? Oof. Well, they had this very buggy boar as well, so that's great. They are even positioning those
Hey, ja.
herdables as they are supposed to. Okay, so we will eat those and then we will go there and eat some deer. Very good. Will we ever change the age? No, we shall not.
Ja. Heiße. Ouvert. Holzer.
We will just rest, sit back and enjoy. Yes. We have plenty of gold. That's great. Archers are not the most obvious tool against.
Bereite. Heiße.
It is, and then there you go. Dun, dun, da, da. How do we take it from
Bereite.
here? So we could just sit back and enjoy, but it might help if we had a plan.
Hey, ja.
So let's build a barracks, yes, and a house. Very good. And then a few more villagers, and then just fast castle, because the scouts should be arriving soon enough.
Heiße.
We are still Dark Age. Dark Age is not the greatest age to be in for this prolonged time. Thank you for that. I would presume that they are. So let's take some
Ja. Das Holzer.
stone as well.
Hey, ja.
Yes, I would presume that they would rush us one way or another, and if we manage... Oh, we still have a boar! That's great news, everyone.
Bereite.
Well,
Jäger. Tuacha.
and
Sucher, Sucher,
move
ja.
there. But you could take a boar with you.
Ja. Jägere. Das war.
Hello.
Das ich soll. Sucher.
And
Heise?
Reke.
Jägere. Dwacha.
what's their plan is the question. So we could probably just sit back and enjoy
Uvere.
like we
Holzer.
always do.
Buvere. Holzer. Heise.
Uvere. Holzer.
Great walls we have here as well.
Ja.
Now that I think of it. Our castle age is not too...
Heise.
Ja. Das ich
Um,
soll. Uvere.
It looks scary, but it's not very scary now that I think of it.
Ja.
So, what will happen?
Hover.
Bereite.
Let's go.
Buvere.
Change of plans, let's go there. Dun, 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 dun. Fast imp. The greedy but ever promising play.
Ja.
Sucher.
I don't even know how that is achieved usually. So we need just enough. Okay,
Uvere.
and then we'll need few more people on wood.
Ja. Holzer.
That's what we need. And
Ja.
then we
Holzer.
will move there. 3 spears is quite not enough perhaps for what we are trying to do here. Which is to defend until we reach Imperial Age. But we haven't reached the Casual Age either as well as of yet. And we have had some idle PC time and all that. Yes, I'm starting to have second thoughts about this approach of ours. So one spear goes there, one goes there. You'll build us a house. And up we go. And here is the castle of theirs.
Ja.
It's time to evacuate everything. If only we had few archers in place.
Heise.
But then again,
Buvere. Heise. Buvere. Stritet. Ja.
Hey, ja. Bereite.
Buvere. Sucher. Sucher. Buvere. Sucher. Buvere. Sucher.
so much for that.
Ja.
Uvere. Hey, ja.
Okay, so a great defense again, of course.
Bereite.
So what do we do then?
Bereite.
Des Holzer.
Some upgrades would be nice. Have they eaten these? They have not. Okay, so we got a little lucky that we saw that before it was too late.
Heise. Uvere. 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 Hauber.
And then what? More houses, yes.
Ja.
Uvere. Holzer.
Kill it there.
Heise.
Uvere. Holzer.
Would help with that.
Heise, Zerstürmer, bereitet, streetet.
And of course we are clearly in a very good position because they lost the castle, but we also don't have enough resources to enjoy the luxury of having one. So
Bereitet.
what do we do?
Ja.
All right, we should be mining over there perhaps.
Das ist wahr. Ja, das ist
Okay,
so.
so if you
Hey, ja.
Heiße, das ist so. Ja.
Ja.
do be in mind about
Holzer, Holzer.
that, or as we should. So let's just upgrade some of the archers.
Ja. Bereitet.
The villagers are still here somewhere, so
Ja.
oh, they are eating the boars.
Das
Okay.
ist wahr.
This castle is very
Bereite.
I think it should be a little more close by.
Dies war
Hello.
Zerstörme. Ja, dies war. Ja, das ist wahr. Ja, das ist so. Street. Ja, dies war Zerstörme. Dies war. Ja, das ist so. Ja, das ist so. Zerstörme. Heiße. Street. Dies war Zerstörme. Ja, das ist so. Dies war. Dies war. Ja, das ist so. Street.
Oh,
Bereitet. Ja.
oh my bad. Then what we need is some monks, of course. Some more farms, why not? And then could someone like you
Dies ist wahr.
go there and show us what's happening over there?
Heiße. Das ist so. Sasa. Heiße.
So they have old intel, it seems. Hmm. Few farms would be great.
Heiße.
Some extra. Oh yes, we need you to take care of that for us, please. Right, and then what we have here is well, this is a little sad, but this, the way the game is running right now, that is.
Ja. Ja.
Okay, and then there's the next wave. Hello. Oh, right.
Heiße.
Oh, how is that working for you? Okay, so what is it? Sorry.
Heiße. Zerstörme. Ja. Dies, das ist so.
So a few more houses would be great.
Bereitet. Ja.
Ooh, well that's a risky play, huh?
Ja. Bereite. Ja.
Heiße. Ja.
So some ballistics. Okay, well this is fun then at least.
Hey, ja.
And then we could build a castle of our very own. Somewhere like we don't have a place for that, so it's just sorry. My bad, my bad. Just keep on doing your your thing.
Bereitet.
Heiße. Bereite. Das war, das ich soll. Ja.
So barracks we have.
Bereite. Ouvert.
And then what?
Ja, dies war Rete. Heiße, dass ich soll. Ja. Ja,
So perhaps what we could expect to see is some more knights, but it might take a while, of course. Scout the map just a bit.
Bereite. Holz. Ja. Ouvert. Ouvert.
They probably have a castle
Heiße.
at
Ouvert.
home
Das
then.
war, Hauber.
Would that not make sense?
Ja. Bereite.
They lost some stone, but not too much, I don't think. Okay, so that's where they have a castle, and that's where they have a town center. Okay, so what do we do as Teutons? We will probably just build a few more units at our convenience, and oh, sorry, should have done this a bit earlier, but was busy doing other things. So a few more archers, and then Imperial Age it is eventually. You go there, you go there.
Ouvert. Holzer. Ouvert.
We could perhaps build that over there. Ooh, okay.
Dies war.
Heiße.
Mangudai. So few skirms would be great. Let's just get the relic back home, and in they come.
Bereite. Ouvert.
Heiße, ja. Ja, dies war.
Heiße, dass ich soll.
Ja. Dies war. Sasa. Heiße? Ja. Das ich soll. Bereite? Ja. Zerstürme. Dies war.
Bereite.
Ja.
Well, we haven't taken the greatest care of you so far, but it's going to change.
Heiße, ja.
Just ah, great. And back to whatever. And we will work out the details soon enough. Then, are we ready for the inevitable push that's going to follow from the bottom?
Hey, ja.
Perhaps we might want to have the elite.
Hey, ja.
Oh, so we lost some, it seems, but not all. Not everything is lost in the neighborhood. So that's great. And then we could follow with another
Ouvert.
castle, but we can think of that in the nearest future. So where are you going, huh? Teutons, okay.
Bereite. Ja. Das war. Hey, ja.
Nope. My bad, of course, but you could have farms instead. Yes. Combine your troops. Run, people. Oh no, we have lost that edge of ours. And then we will run around in circles. And perhaps build a defensive castle over here. And then take some wood from there. Oh. Right. We're ready to click up yet? Oh, we are not, because we are busy doing other things. And let's just use this. So we lost some stone in the process, but that's alright. Elite Mangudai. So what we will do is just a huge number of... Someone was probably supposed to build these for us, but well, there's time and place for everything, as we are fond of saying. Still doing a great work over here, very good everyone. You have made me proud. Perhaps if we had some army support, would have been a different case, but what we did was good in any under any circumstances. So just more people we need. Still hurts. To fight against these. Film. And then there we go. Na 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 na. I think they could have punished us a little sooner if they wanted to, but of course it's alright that they didn't. But everything needs to happen right away. Extra range, but melee armor is not something that we really need, I don't think. Okay, so let's just build this. Oops. Then you could go there. We still have some resources available for us, so why not? And extra range for castles, that would be neat, but do we just move some of our people away? Do we think? Playing with Mangudai is alright. Enjoying the life as it's given to you. Now the worst thing is that we don't have time to enjoy our coffee now. But we have resources, so perhaps we could use some of those. I think it would make some sense. And then we will need a mill. Support our farmers. And chemistry would be great. Some architecture would be good as well, but the relics. Cap drum. Yes. Can we hit? Yes, we can. That's very good, because hitting is very important. Diving under the TC5, those people. The nerves they are showing. The dariness. Okay. And some more if possible. Thank you very much. And there we go. Oops. And then we could perhaps use our horde of whatever to get rid of these. Oh, right. You got a little stuck perhaps. That's my bad. And just like that they're moving up. Up. Wards. Da-da. So that would be great, but we can't really afford. It's alright. There's a time and place for everything, as they say. And then we are eventually going to have to admit our losses. What do we do with these then? Let's just move back here. We could help out a bit. If you participated, that is. And then a few farms. And what else? Cavalier. A few of them we have. Alright, so the score difference is starting to look bleak. GG. Thank you for your time. Okay. Well, we did what we could, but it wasn't enough. Also, we could have perhaps produced a few rams or something from here. And it was the castle that did the damage. Since we prepared things, we just never followed with those. But yeah, we still have the resources, so we just needed to mass the skirmisher numbers, because that's all they had, these elite Mangudais. Which is a little sad, but that's the level of play that we have to offer these days, so... the case could be made that we might have been able to play this slightly differently, but of course we couldn't. Let's see. Let's see now. We failed a bit at our fast imp approach, since that was the plan. Oh, but no wonder we lost, because they had 1075 elo. It's unbeatable. Let's see if there's something we can learn from their history then. Alright, they've enjoyed their share of Mongols as of lately, so perhaps they are one of those players who approach the game by gut feeling, but kudos to them for playing this in an open manner, but then again I think that's how you, if you get map control, and why wouldn't you get, and since you have the hunt and everything, it would make sense that it's like the greatest moment of the game. But the castle of course should have been there, slightly more towards us, I think, and we should have moved in with the little army that we had, and we should have also followed through where they went, because we might even out the villager numbers a bit if we did just that. Alright, so the castle, but they already have enough stone for a second castle as well. So someone might argue that this army should be here, killing these villagers. So perhaps next time that's what we will do. So we were in an okay-ish position when we... This is a little weird castle position in my opinion, considering, well, it's secures this code, so why not. But yeah, we should have moved in slightly faster, and then it makes little sense to destroy these buildings with these units that we have over here. And yeah, if it just boomed away, then perhaps this could have been a more even game. And then the only thing that we needed was this. Well, we have a long-range castle, so we could have used that tech if we wanted to. And saving this castle would have given us some stone back. And then that was that, basically. Even the knight got few kills. But yeah, obviously we are going to lose way more here. But yeah, like if we had raided them a bit, or otherwise pressurized them, then all this sensitive micro that they are showing wouldn't have counted as much. No, that's just a very... that's just a very game. But at least we got 40 head army, so that's an improvement over some earlier games that we have had in not too distant past. Right, let's see. Okay, and then I think we will try to play some more, because what better way to learn than by trial and error and repeating same mistakes if they are mistakes to begin with. Alright, so this time what we will do is we will try to breach the walls in the feudal age with the little army that we are able to throw together or assemble. I forgot to change the settings, but next game. You just wait. And wait we do. Perhaps the other player is also AFK. Yes. AFK. Every now and humans, this is great. Okay. So as humans we get the RAM early on. Everything's working in our favor. So we could build a forward town center. Yes. Especially given that the Byzantine's buildings get extra good luck, says. And they also have a little choppy computer, perhaps. Could also be that it's us, but it just shows that it's them for some non-obvious reason. So it still costs the same, but okay, so what we'll do is come feudal age we will have barracks ready and producing spearmen. Yes, and then we will follow that up with 2 villager. No, we need more. 6 villager or something like that. Siege workshop, and once we get through the walls we will build a town center and we will douche them just like in the movies. And then we will eventually do something to get somewhere so that our lives will not be wasted, if it is avoidable still. So that's the plan. That's a great plan, even if I might say so myself. This makes it a little tricky to play the game. So you build that and you go there. Very good. And they are also this close, so it helps with our very cunning plan. Even if, again, I might be forced to say it myself. Okay, so then next boar hunter. Oh, bad. Might join the scene. And well, there's some room for improvement, but not much. And some more or less perfect. This is great. Okay, so we will need a barrack somewhere like there, and then feudal age spearman blippity plop, few villagers, just to give us some protection against any scouts or forward moving villagers of theirs. And it should all be just fine. And second building we need still. So it's your task then to build us one. Okay, so lumen up.
Salam. Amukmen.
And great.
Çitlermen.
Well, some idle time, but who counts these things at this level?
Kururnen.
We have
Alhaç.
far
Keser.
greater problems than just
Avlarmen.
a
Buyruğunuz.
little idle time here and there.
Salam.
Salam.
So you two, you three,
Alarne. Alarne.
go eat that,
Evet.
Alarne.
Chicken.
Alarne. Alarne.
and then there you go.
Alhaç kesermen. Evet. Kururnen. Çitlermen.
And then we are going to need plenty of food. A house we have already, that's great, but
Buyruğunuz. Alhaç kesermen.
the barracks.
Gururmen. Evet.
There.
Evet. Gururmen. Gururmen.
Up there.
Avlarmen.
Amukmen.
And then I'm not sure about the
Buyruğunuz.
correct way it was supposed to go, but okay, so that we are going to need, that's for sure. And then we are a little late with our next steps, which is very bad. Oh, but we have an age up. Did they not notice that, or what's the... Huh. That's weird.
Salam.
Then we need a blacksmith, right?
Buyruğunuz.
Anukmen.
Amukmen. Salam.
And then few more villagers. We are on a timer, but I'm not
Evet. Anladım.
seeing that.
Anladım.
Here you go. One more spear, okay.
Evet. Anladım.
Salam. Anladım. Buyruğunuz. Avlarmen. Barunmen. Evet. Gururmen.
Kulu keser. Sanchiska. Buyruğunuz. Anladım. Evet. Sakatlanın. Buyruğunuz.
Okay, well then.
Anladım. Buyruğunuz.
Lag is something else.
Buyruğunuz. Sanchiska. Evet.
So they made additional scout. That's great.
Kururnen.
We need gold.
Kulu ketarn.
I didn't count that into the play at all. So we are never going to get through the walls. This is terrible.
Salam.
75 is not that much. Okay. And then we need a house.
Anukmen. Evet.
Kururnen. Kururnen.
We should, like, this is the reason why people practice this, even very simple things sometimes. Because it's just impossible to do some things if you don't. Okay. What's
Evet.
happening? Everything's fine. Just need some more food, very good.
Buyruğunuz. Evet.
Then, once this is eaten, we will go for the chicken, and then we will find something else to do.
Buyruğunuz. Evet.
Oh.
Anladım.
That's very
Salam.
No, 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 just go through. It's very good. Okay, and then what? Right. In we go. Do they have fletching? They don't. That's great. Okay, so what we will need is some archers or whatnots. Support us a bit. And sorry. Few farms just in case. So everything's cheaper for them, which is good for them. That's what you want. Alright, let's cancel the mission. Everyone get back home. No, we don't. We will fight. Everyone move back here. And then we will send some villagers there. And you will come here. In we go. Ah. What kind of people? Oh, did we? No, we didn't lose that. Great. It's a sword that it was impossible. Well, my army control is not what it could be, but it's not bad. That's a given. Oh, well, this has to be the greatest day of my life. We have a great position map wise. So what we will need is you will just shoot some arrows, of course. Well, then how do we take it from here? We need more rams. They have a market already. Where are our rams? More people. It's very important. A ram, that's also rather important. Then it is faster this way then, okay. Watchtower has been mentioned. Could you please? Well, some things are just very difficult, and I get that. So how do we take it from here then? They must not have much going their way either, so... Oh. So let's just get some more people out there if possible. Each workshop, that's great. You get rid of that, you get rid of that. Few houses. Oh, more coal, sorry. Sorry about that. My mistake, perhaps. Okay, and then back there we go. And then what? So there's a few more. Nope. Nope. Ugh. Well, we could just, let's practice that a bit. And then we could take some stone from there. We could also take some stone from there, but some time and place for everything. Okay. Oh, very good. There we go. All very almost controllable, but then not almost quite. Okay, so you get rid of that. Ooh, great quick walls you have there. That's great for me. Okay, so we are moving to the next age. That's great. And then this must be almost a very terrible situation for anyone who's been following this for a while now. Repair that a bit, and there we go. We will repair that a bit. Right, and then some more units that we would like to have. Some knights, for example, would be great. Hello. What do you think of a knight's play? It should be quite disgusting for anyone to play against a very clever strategy such as this. Just such as this one. Okay, but we are going to need a few units to help with this. Oops. Well, this is a little more dicey than I hoped for, really. Now that I think of it, because they have the... Ooh, but we also have a unit in the field. Very good. So that's going to be a decoy. Yes, we are very clever. Oh, sorry. Yes, 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 yes. Just get rid of that. And then get rid of that. And it's gonna be alright. In the end, everything's gonna be very good. Just like that. Very good. Okay. And then we will carry on as per usual. Since they shouldn't have much more than just... But do they actually? Do we know that they don't have much? We don't really know that, I think. So perhaps we should study the map a bit before I get too excited. Fast training time is great, but is that what we need? Not necessarily, no. Then we should focus on that, because that's the only thing that can hurt us. Really. And that's how you win on Arena. Oh, Anna Morris. Hey, what's up? How's the game going? And what's going on? Are you seeing my chats? Now I am. And thanks for the whisper, I presume. Although I might have an educated guess about the content of that, but that was a way too hectic of a game for me to read the chat simultaneously. Sorry about that. And too bad it seems that our opponent gave up, because perhaps that frustrated, because I think this was a very fun game. Might have been fun even if we lost it. Even if we were to lose it. 3,000 games they've played. Yeah. Well, at least I'm happy for the fact that that they have played this game a few times, because otherwise it would have felt a little bit unpleasant, I presume, knowing myself a bit to make someone suffer like we made our dearest opponent suffer. Then again, I don't know if this is a viable strat. Is this something that humans usually do, for example? That could very well be the case. Although I don't think this should work, but perhaps they were having problems due to the lag, like we were, so... Could be that some of the things they hoped might click quite didn't. It seems like they've been playing quite some time. This feudal army is surprising, but then again, perhaps it's not, because we are humans, so one might expect some sort of aggression from us. Well, especially after witnessing siege workshops. And now if we only had few more people. Dun 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 dun. It seems like that was the case. We crashed all the capture rate, crashed and took OBS with it, or otherwise around, so perhaps we have some issues when it comes to this screen capturing thing that we have set in place. Just hop a bit. Can I? Oh, I can't go back further from... Okay, it's just... Give me a second. So if I spectate from the mid game, then it doesn't give capture age all the information, but just the current status of the game, which probably makes sense. So I'll just quickly rewatch the previous minute or so. Hope you understand. Yeah, they've played with Magyars, they've played Koreans on Arena, Chinese, powerful Siths I would like to claim, but what do I know? So some idle PC time on their behalf. And then they built, so they didn't know anything besides the fact that they lost their scout to a spear, and then they added their own spears and scouts, even though they are not currently on their way to the castle age. I don't know if that's advisable thing to do. Like, why would you add these? But since they don't know about the siege workshop, so I was wrong about that. Soon they will, but and now I understand the eagerness to add more units, and perhaps they are securing their base against a douche, so you can't really drop a town center right next to terrace, which is the usual definition for that. And here I was about to run back home, but luckily we didn't, because we needed those units. And now we are forcing them to add more, so they can't really click up, and the eco balance is very sad indeed. We are going to lose quite much. Like, I don't think we should lose, like we have some issues with our army control and what have yous, and all this fighting is taking place, but at least the town center positioning is alright. It just took us a while to realize how to target fire too, and now they perhaps realized that we might be moving in if we wanted to. But we have few villagers more, so they lost 3, we have lost 2 villagers in the tower process, or towering process, and now they are... Ooh, that's the reason they couldn't add Townsenders. And then they are preparing for what? So extra stone for second tower, right. Okay, so they had to use market for that, and that's quite costly, especially given that the tower is not going to last for long. Here they could be picking some more villagers. Now we are 3-3, but I'm not able to keep count. The thing we are doing quite well in this situation is keeping the production up, because we are still queuing more villagers, and we also have 2 Townsenders, but it's just not great. Well, it's like the positioning of the Townsender is not very safe, and then they are using the last stone that they had. But even the knights are not very good against Townsenders. And soon they should be... This PM, I could have used this a bit earlier perhaps. Alright, so we've lost more villagers, but thanks to the fact that their eco is little... Perhaps their focus is elsewhere sometimes. We are getting ahead in the game. And then the tower is gone for good. They could be adding light cavalry with... Well, now they can't because they don't have a stable anymore, but before that, and now they don't have wood. Okay, so destroying their houses but buildings was a very clever idea in that sense. Then also something that they are trying to do soon enough, but those knights will go down in a moment. And now they've secured that we can't raid them easily. Of course we could, but we decided against that. And still they are not producing more villagers, although they should. Still, resources collected is quite even because we have spent some time walking back and forth and doing inefficient things, and we are still in the feudal age, so like their winning condition is just getting rid of us, and then it's very easy breezy from there. But they should be adding more villagers. If they did that, then this would be a very difficult game for us. Even if they just queued them into the 1000 or something, that would be enough. Now they're losing the camel. They don't have more stables. They were lacking fletching, so that's why the towers and also the 1000 wasn't as weren't as damaging as they could have been. Yeah, and this hurts as well. If only they had stone to build an additional 1000er, but now perhaps they were a little like perhaps they lost their focus a bit. Oh yeah, so we could have killed that villager, but instead we chased that one. Right, and then that's our castle age, and now they should be starting to feel the heat a bit, but instead we are almost losing the level that we had. Also producing scout cavalry that they shouldn't run away from. that was just enough time to make this work. Yeah. I don't know if they are thinking or whether they are playing just like we usually are, that we just wait for the inevitable to happen. But this timing wasn't very good, but luckily we had a few cavalry units around, a few more than they had. Then what's their play? They need more coal, so that's, and buying stone for, okay. Okay, so they were thinking of a castle, but they lacked resources for that. So those towers were very expensive in that manner as well. And they are on a time that they need the castle now, and then they would drop it there or something. And then carry on playing. And perhaps they are thinking that this is a glass cannon approach, meaning that we would have very little eco behind this, but that they, of course, what they couldn't have known was that we were quite much ahead in resources collected, for example, and having 2000. Oh yes, yeah, because they perhaps didn't realize that we were humans. So they thought that we destroyed our town center, this starting town center. And that's why they fought on for so long, because they thought that we can't be producing more villagers. That we have had, or like short time period where we have produced no villagers, for example. Could be something that someone might think, because they can't verify whether we still have the town center in place, and if they don't remember that humans have 2 town centers starting feudal age, then it would make more sense at least to presume that we might be on a very thin ice, that if we make few mistakes more, then they should be able to win the game easily. Yeah, their map was like, we got very lucky in a few ways, because first of all we were this close to them, and there were resources for us to utilize, because the gold was the thing we were lacking, and we realized that too late, and then the gold was right there, right next to us, instead of being there, for example, and which would have forced us to swap some units around here in the home base. And then once we got in, of course, the fact that we managed to build a town center and build it on top of their production buildings as well. And then they did build the stable, but then they didn't have any resources to. Yeah, well, would be interesting to know what their thinking process was during the game. Hopefully they had somewhat fun times in any case, because this is not the way I usually see people play Arena, so we got really lucky that we got a ship with which we could enjoy that feudal age aggression with extra gimmicks. So where is it? Game. Dun 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 dun. Mods? We don't have any mods on. Perhaps we should. Alright, let's focus. Somewhere here. Extend unit stats. Readability panels. Probably very good. Fixed tooltip. Yes, yes, yes. Very good. Quality, of course, yes. Crash prone, but alright. Small trees. Since we are not falling, let's try how the game works with that setting off. In case it's more pleasant in some ways. Just fetch some more water and then off we go. Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, in a way I think the reaction was wrong because perhaps we made some great plays, of course, that's always a possibility, but I don't know if you need to react too heavily on that sort of forward but distant town center, for example. Knowing that they still had this secondary or additional code that they could access, I'm not sure whether that really required any fast response or a powerful response from them. Whereas an option Romans again,
Salve, edifico.
we don't have a very good track record with Romans, I don't think.
Deus.
Collige.
Shno Gemedish. Yes, they are at least smiling, which is great. Of course, if there is a new, as I mentioned earlier, that no one does this anymore. I don't know if there's a meta discussion or something that I should be aware of. But eventually I too shall learn the ways. So where do we have our sheep then? This little
Deus. Venor.
Colligo.
Prontus. Salve.
troublesome.
Venor. Confestim faciam. Confestim
Ah.
faciam.
There's no time to waste. Follow me.
Salve. Salve. Salve.
Venor.
Impera. Lignor.
What are the odds?
Confestim faciam. Venor.
Okay, well it's a scout, that's alright. We don't mind that.
Impera.
Edifico.
This we will
Lignor.
mind a bit, but not much.
Venor.
Prontus. Lignor.
And that makes me think that they know how to play the game, because they have time to attack someone who's just passing by. Whereas I would never have such a skill. Okay, so that's a sheep, that's great. Unless we just happened to run past their
Salve. Prontus.
deer pushing session or something. But we don't have deer, so that couldn't have been the case. So what is it that they do?
Impera. Recte. Confestim faciam.
And what is it that we do?
Prontus. Venor. Recte. Eus. Confestim faciam. Prontus. Salve. Impera. Recte.
Salve.
Venor. Salve.
Edifico.
So
Prontus.
perhaps it's
Edifico.
time to
Lignor.
rust a house or two. It looks like a wall, but it's not meant to be. Then what? That is also too close to my liking, but at least the trees are really beautiful, so we will enjoy that part. Barracks towards them Saracens, was it? So they will use market and what
Confestim
else?
faciam. Edifico.
Prontus.
Salve. Impera. Venor. Prontus. Venor.
Salve. Impera. Edifico.
Salve.
Venor.
Mhm.
Colligo.
Eus. Recte. Confestim faciam.
Eus. Salve. Recte. Lignor. Pronto.
Everything's a little
Edifico.
off, but that's how things sometimes are.
Imperate. Salve. Fodio. Salve.
Colligo.
Impera. Prontus. Colligo.
Salve.
Salve.
Prontus.
So,
Prontus.
you ready?
Eus.
Colligo.
How come they didn't find their
Eus.
sheep? Oops. Yes. Their sheep. That's very weird to me. Perhaps they are new or something.
Impera.
Based on the score, that might be the case, but
Salve.
I have been
Impera.
wrong so many times before, so
Eus.
Impera.
so three of you,
Salve. Impera.
Prontus.
you could go there.
Edifico. Venor.
Some chicken, that's very healthy. Oh no. Okay, so walls it is, and then how do we react to that? We are Romans, so everything's
Prontus.
faster, but
Edifico. Colligo.
first we will do just some archers then. I might be wrong about their
Salve.
lack of
Colligo.
talent and
Impera.
very many
Colligo.
other things too. Now that I think of it. So we need more people on wood.
Prontus. Lignor. Salve.
Salve.
Mm-hmm.
Edifico. Fodio.
That's going to take a while still. They did not carry them, they are building more walls. Oh no.
Eus.
Then we will just play with archers and a few skirms. And we will call it.
Prontus.
Ooh, very nice wood
Eus.
line we have
Prontus.
actually.
Salve.
We didn't scout that, because I've scouted very little of anything. But it's a very nice wood line.
Edifico. Fodio.
Prontus.
And then an archer or two.
Eus.
There's a spear just in case, but they are still on Dark Age. Well, sounds to me a bit like they are only just practicing the game, but what do I know? Let's go check whether they have other buildings besides that. They also attacked our scout, which is not something that usually happens.
Impera, edifico, lignor.
So I'm just confused. This is my confused face. Someone.
Eus, colligo.
Thank you very much.
Sal recte. Recte. Impera. Ad arma! Salve. Tibi Servio. Impera.
If there's a hole, perhaps they are also playing with big trees then.
Salve.
Quick balling like that. That's no small feat.
Tibi recte. Salve. Impera. Recte. Tibi Servio. Pugnemus. Impera.
Of course, as they say, there's always a hole and so forth, but
Salve. Colligo. Colligo. Lignor. Prontus.
and you could
Lignor.
join us over
Eus.
here
Edifico. Edifico.
Salve.
or not.
Tibi Servio.
Let's have a quick scan.
Ad pugnam. Ad arma!
So farms can be seen, that's great. Score is still quite close, so
Impera.
hello.
Salve.
They have a really nice looking eco,
Pugnemus.
I must say.
Salve recte. Ad pugnam. Impera. Ad arma!
Nope,
Tibi Servio.
and there's also a hole.
Tibi Servio. Salve. Tibi Servio. Impera. Tibi Servio. Impera. Recte. Recte. Pugnemus. Recte. Ad pugnam. Pugnemus.
If only we had more people doing things, but that's alright.
Ad pugnam. Impera. Salve. Ad arma! Impera. Ad pugnam. Salve. Pugnemus. Tibi Servio. Salve. Tibi Servio. Ad arma!
Houses, right. Houses.
Edifico. Edifico. Fodio. Prontus.
And some
Edifico.
farms,
Edifico.
sorry about
Edifico.
omitting that part.
Edifico.
Eus.
I was just about to do something about it, but
Impera. Salve.
got a little
Edifico.
sidetracked.
Edifico.
And then I should probably be watching
Edifico.
what's happening
Edifico.
over there, but
Edifico.
Impera.
well,
Servio.
there's time and place for everything, as they say, and it's
Salve.
not very beautiful. And all of a sudden we are very
Tibi
even
Servio. Impera.
on all fronts, so let's
Salve.
focus on getting to the castle age ourselves then.
Edifico. Edifico.
Now that they perhaps have overreacted just a bit.
Recte. Eo. Pugnemus.
They're going to lose some resources in the process.
Impera. Tibi Servio. Recte. Impera. Ad arma! Recte. Ad pugnam. Tibi Servio. Pugnemus. Salve. Impera. Recte. Ad arma! Ad pugnam. Tibi Servio. Pugnemus. Ad arma! Impera. Recte. Salve. Eo. Ad pugnam. Pugnemus. Tibi servio. Ad pugnam. Ad pugnam. Tibi
Of course,
servio.
there's a hole somewhere there as well, I've understood, but
Podio. Edifico. Edifico.
Impera. Eo. Pareo. Recteo. Salve. Tibi servio. Recte. Pareo. Ad arma.
No.
Pareo. Tibi servio. Salve. Recte. Recte. Ad pugnam. Eo. Tibi servio. Recte. Impera. Pareo. Eo. Pareo. Tibi servio. Recte. Impera. Ad arma. Ad pugnam. Recte. Salve. Eo. Pareo. Pugnemus. Impera. Tibi servio.
some villagers are chasing us, that's great. Oh, don't go there.
Ad pugnam. Pugnemus. Ad pugnam. Pugnemus. Impera. Salve. Pareo. Recte. Ad arma. Tibi servio. Pareo. Recte.
Nope.
Pareo.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Pugnemus. Ad arma. Salve. Impera. Ad pugnam. Pugnemus. Ad arma. Tibi servio. Impera. Pugnemus. Ad pugnam. Ad arma. Pugnemus. Ad arma. Pareo. Ad pugnam. Pugnemus. Salve. Recte. Tibi servio. Eo. Ad pugnam.
Da, 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 da.
Eo. Pareo. Salve. Pugnemus. Recte. Pareo. Eo. Recte. Impera. Eo. Ad arma. Pugnemus. Recte. Eo. Recte. Ad arma. Salve. Impera. Ad pugnam. Eo. Pareo. Eo. Ad arma. Salve. Recte. Pareo. Pugnemus. Ad arma. Salve. Ad pugnam. Impera. Recte. Pareo. Pareo. Ad arma. Pugnemus. Tibi ad pugnam. Ad arma. Pugnemus. Ad pugnam. Ad arma. Ad pugnam. Salve. Tibi ad arma.
Salve. Edifico.
Ooh, a castle age is approaching, sorry,
Salve. Impera.
and has been reached.
Eo. Ad pugnam.
Pronto.
Tibi servio. Pugnemus.
I'm not quite sure what they might
Tibi servio.
want to do with this
Pugnam. Recte. Pugnemus.
newly found.
Pugnam. Ad arma. Ad pugnam. Ad arma. Ad pugnam. Pugnam. Pugnemus. Ad arma. Ad pugnam. Ad arma. Ad pugnam. Salve. Impera. Eo. Ad arma. Pugnemus. Ad arma.
Salve.
So let's do some additional upgrades, why not?
Edifico.
And how many idols do we have? Not too many. And oops, well, sorry about that, my bad. And
Salve. Impera. Recte. Recte. Salve. Recte. Recte. Ad pugnam. Recte. Ad arma. Ad pugnam. Ad arma. Pugnemus. Ad arma. Ad pugnam. Pugnemus. Tibi servio. Reo. Impera.
and then
Edifico.
well, perhaps we could build that first.
Salve.
Podio.
You could join us and build us a castle over
Edifico.
here, perhaps. We just need to get in first and foremost.
Salve.
Salve. Recte.
Edifico.
Ad pugnam!
Nope. GG. No game leash. I don't know if they even saw the villagers or anything, but oh, it was the archer over there. Tricky play. Let's hope they have had a few games. Yeah, 140 or so. And they have fought their way from some 800 elo or so to this where they currently are at, which was around 1000, little more than we did. Ooh, almost 2000 games. Okay, I was wrong with my stats then. And we have had a glorious 400 games soon, with just one more victory on our single player attempts, or well, 1 versus 1 ladder attempts, as we also have on our team matches and even this single Empire Wars game. One more win than a loss on all 3 of those, so that's very glorious statistic for those who are interested in glorious stats. We are glad to deliver. But yeah, perhaps they were just a little slower than, and perhaps that explained the outcome, because this felt a little one-sided. Perhaps it was the early aggression that got my since my scout got hit. Then I decided to give it my everything this time. So they are scouting with the sheep, and then they run across our pony, and could have been accidental of course as well, clicking when they're supposed to. Not that they used, they knew how to use the hill, so they were not very clueless. Is there one sheep in the darkness still? Where was the sheep that we found then? Oh, it was there somewhere. Or did we find it earlier already? Oh boy, is me. Well. In any case, they are playing against Romans, so they are perhaps expecting infantry play. And now that they have, we have but 1 archer, 2 archers, and the skirmisher, we also showed them that there's a hole, and we already have a fletching. Luckily we had that very clever spearman to help us. Yeah, even doing those sort of quick walls was a very clever thing to do, but of course they won't keep us out for long. He could have sent a single archer here sooner. but we didn't know the layout of their base, or we didn't understand it well enough. And actually it seems that we did. Yeah, so the villager losses are not like, I'm not quite sure how they are seeing or reading the game now, because they have the walls. That's where the stable was. Right. Part of the wall. I bet they're doing this neat little wallings here and there. They have not noticed this wall. Oh, now they did. And then the villager is on the wrong side of that, but and so they are still producing more villagers. That's great, but they also have blocked a few with the market, so they are now trying to cut them out. It's gonna take a while. So yeah, even if you can tell that our TZ has been idle for quite some time, every now and then 4 minutes for both of us. This looks very much like the late Friday, Saturday, the last game of the day, sort of a play from both of us, I think. Especially since we are going to lose very many archers soon enough. But I don't... Oh, they wanted to get rid of the spearmen because they were up to the castle age and they would not want us to have that group causing havoc soon enough. But yeah, so they've lost already 10 villagers due to that. So due to our very great aggression. Yeah, so they could have... So buying stone... So they bought stone, so there's... Oh, it's just these walls. Alright, okay. I was expecting a tower or something, but... That's right, they tried to keep us out with that, but... It's just very... weird, given that the palisade walls have, what... 250 HP? And they still have, like... little army in their base, 12 villagers left. So now they are using the Saracens market. That explains why they didn't have much going against us. Also, they have forgotten about this camel that they had. So even though they are producing more villagers, it's still an uphill battle. And now we are making them believe that we are stuck behind the stone wall so that they would have time to get back to the game, but that's of course not actually true, and they don't have any upgrades. We have armor and forging. Our army control is not the greatest, but we should still win this fight quite convincingly. Yeah, very odd game. Floating resources, yes, that's us. But yeah, some confused plays here and there. 30 kills versus 0. And we had just made room for the villagers to enter. Yeah, also something that I didn't read during the game, but obviously we should be able to do that, was that this was their main gold, and the secondary gold they had walled out from their reach, even though this as well, they were very much available for them if they just wanted to use them. I don't think I would have noticed very quickly if they had 5-10 villagers working on that, especially if they had walled this position out from their base. But again, I don't understand why people don't just wall like from there to there. Then it feels very greedy. Do you think that this would be enough? So perhaps that was the play that they didn't need to make. They could have walled from there to there and there to there if they wanted to wall to begin with, or at least make it slightly larger so that the wood line would be safe and also this gold would be accessible to them. Someone might also argue that building a tower would have made sense, but I don't know if this prolonged feudal aggression would have really lost its sharpness. So would have gotten dull because of something like that. Don't know, but that's for future generations to analyze and discover. Well, it was a very chill game, so thanks to Snogmelish for that. Could also be Snogmelish. I need to hone my German a bit. But yeah, we were both very fast, or fast enough, but not overly so that's great. And we are very much quite close to where we started, so that's how you progress, so you know if you happen to play yourself. And with that, I'm out, and we'll be back in the future. We'll see about that. Thank you all for your time and attention, and we'll be in touch. Bye bye.